everyone, it's Terry here sharing another process video for Peartree Cutfiles. Today I'm using the Mountains Are Calling from the January release and Brandy's Mountain from the December 21 release. So I've cut the mountains from black cardstock and then I've used a patterned paper from Vicky Bootin's Fernwood collection to cut out the Mountains Are Calling cut file. And now I'm just painting the kind of scripty words with Indian ink, which is something I quite like to do. You still get part of the pattern through the ink from the patterned paper, but it really tones it down and makes it stand out, and it'll also pull in the black cardstock mountains that are going to sit kind of behind the cut file a little bit. So just add a couple of coats and then leave that to one side to dry. So once that's dry, I can move on with my layout. I'm going to use this frame of patterned paper from Rosie's Studio. It's actually from the Christmas collection, and it's been sat on my desk for a while, so I thought it would work well because it kind of it's quite a neutral and maybe a bit of a woody feel to it. So I've just cut some cardstock down to 11 by 11 and distressed the edges, and then I'm going to add that straight on top to create my layout. So I'm going to add a bit of mixed media to the background for this page. What I want to do is sit those mountains on top of some mixed media. And you can see roughly how I'm thinking the layout's going to form. So I've pulled out 3 different colours of distress inks, and then I'm just using a blending brush behind that cut file just to add some light areas of green. So do keep going back and putting the cut file over the top just to make sure that I'm kind of covering where I want it to be. I'm not doing it exact, so the ink will kind of blend out at either side of the cut file. It's just more to create a bit of a background effect. So pulled out this dots stencil that's from Peartree as well, and I'm using the darker peel paint ink just to add a few dots here and there on the background. So you can see it's really subtle, you can't see much of it once those mountains are over the top. I'm going to add some stamping as well on this layout, and these are from one of the Heidi Swap stamp sets. It's just a row of kind of trees, so it's kind of emulates what Marie's done with this mountain cut file, but in just a much smaller form. So I'm just working out where I want them to go and then just overlapping them, going a bit higher. You can see it looks absolutely nothing when you take the cut file away. It looks like a big green blob really, a bit of a mess, but once you get that cut file on top, it really does make a difference. I'm just adding it with some wet glue straight on the top, and that creates the basis of the start of my layout. Now I'm just going to work out where I want the cut file to be, because what I don't want is to cover up all that lovely mixed media and stamping. So these are a couple of journaling cards from a cut part sheet from an older Amy Tangerine collection. They've got kind of mustards and browns in them, so I thought they'd pair quite well with this with the Fernwood collection. So I'm just working out exactly where I want my photo, and I have pulled out, can you see that clipboard piece that I'm just going to trim out now, and I want to use that to add my journaling, and I'm going to put that to the right hand side of my photo, so it's just moving it across a little bit. And you can see there that I'm tucking that clipboard underneath the cut file, but once I've added all the letters, you won't really see much of it from underneath. So what I do is I'm going to stick the cut file flat to the background, and then again I'm going, as I have done with quite a few layouts recently, I'm going to add all the letters on top using foam pads. So now I've got the basis of my layout done, it's time to add some embellishment. So first off, I'm going to add a little bit of twine just wrapped up and tucked under that clipboard on the top right hand corner, just for a little bit of interest there and something a little bit different. And again, I've gone back to those stamps from Heidi Swap, and there's an explore definition, so I'm just going to add that to the clipboard before I add any of my journaling. Now I've got these fussy cut leaves that I used on a previous layout that I've got left that are from the Fernwood collection, so I'm just looking at where I can add them to bring in a bit of colour, because it's very green, this layout at the moment, and I just want to make it a little bit more vibrant. And it was kind of autumnal winter time when he went up one side, so yeah, I want to just add a little bit more colour. So I've also pulled out a few of my Peartree pieces and Peartree bits, so I've got these acrylic leaves, so they're in kind of a muted kind of browny colour, but they because they're translucent, they do show some of the pattern and colour from whatever you lay them onto. So I use them over the leaves, and you can see in the close-ups how they look. So I'm just going to add this happy banner that's on a cork effect piece. So that's really nice. Just stuck it over where I've put that paper clip. And I'm just going round adding in a few more of these acrylic pieces and just trying them out in different areas before I settle on where I want them. That piece is just a little bit too fat to go there, so I do actually pull out a couple of the felt Peartree pieces in a green colour and add them in. I've got this die cut piece that says Explore More, that's from a Go-Go Getaway class that I did at a retreat, and I like that it pulls in that kind of reddy orange colour that I've got in the leaves. So this layout is nearly complete. I'm just going to add in those felt leaves and then call it finished. I have just added some gold splatter, as you can see on that photo, and added in my journaling, and this is about my husband who, despite a broken wrist, still went hiking up a mountain because he loves to be outdoors. Thanks for joining me, and check out the description below for all the links to the products I've used. Bye for now.